Hey YouTube. So I think I finally got tired of my, I don't know if you want to call it like my lower self or my ego or my mind, but I'm just tired of feeling the way I've been feeling. So limited, so scared, so fearful, frustrated, angry, abandoned, and all of those feelings produce, the thoughts produce the emotions, which then are actually producing chemicals which are going to keep me from healing everything that I want to heal in my body. Um, and, you know, I, I sort of have a plan for that. There are all kinds of people doing mindset work. Abraham Hicks, Tony Robbins. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of people doing it. I think I may still do some work with maybe an EMDR therapist around, relieving some stuck kind of childhood trauma. And I think I would like to learn how to do the EFT technique so that when I do get into, I start to spiral out and I know that I'm dumping chemicals into my system, I can quickly correct that. For me, it's interesting because on one hand, I think it's important to feel our emotions, especially as we're recovering, right? So for many years, I didn't bother to feel my emotions. I would just mostly drink and smoke pot. It's not like I didn't have any feelings. I could just alter everything I was thinking or feeling in the moment with substances. So I think it's important in recovery to be feeling our feelings. Having said that, I think that it's equally, if not more so important, especially if you're having a health challenge, to eliminate the toxins that are toxic chemicals that are being dumped into our systems when we are repetitively in stress, fight or flight, which I certainly have been the last, all my life, but I have been acutely aware of it the last 8 or 9 weeks. So I guess I just finally got sick of it. I'm just so tired. I'm exhausted by it. And more importantly, oh, right, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, not really helping. So I'm going to, sort of check with my higher self about what the next required action is for that. I think, there's two guys that I've followed their work. I actually saw them a number of years ago in Seattle at the Center for Spiritual Living. Greg Braden, whose work is, he's a scientist who marries science and, the mystical knowledge of the ages. And his work is largely heart-centered. And then also Joe Dispenza, who's a chiropractor who has also, I think, studied, also embraces oneness and, this idea of the one and God and, Spirit's hand in our lives. But he comes at it from a neuroscience background, psychoimmunology, helping the body to heal through rewiring of the brain's neurons. So that really speaks to me. Already my mind is like, well, but you can't do that because it involves a meditation, a daily practice of not just trying to sit quietly. I think there's more visualization involved from what I gather, which may be easier for me to do. But, with the ear ringing, it's like, well, I can't do that. I can't do it because my ears are ringing. Well, that's a story, that's a limitation, and that's exactly the kind of thought process that I desire and intend to get beyond. So I think through all of this process, right? Like, I can only be where I am with it. It took me 2 months to get here. Noelle and I have continued to have conversations about how I have got to change my mindset in order to heal. And so I'm only ready when I'm ready to get it. I guess I had to get in enough pain. And in a way, I just had to bottom out around it. I had this insight that some of it is because some of my constant getting into the panicky state, the stress response, the fight or flight, is an addiction in and of itself, because I have taken out all of the other substances, the other chemicals. So this is my brain's way of altering my state of being. And it does it in a really addictive fashion. So if it does that, then I can change it to produce other chemicals. Chemicals of love, chemicals of joy, acceptance, creativity. So while all those things seem really out of reach for me, because I just didn't foster any of that in myself, I have to know that it's possible. I have to have the hope. If that's all I can do is have a glimmer of hope right now, I think I have even more than that. I think I know that it's possible. I know that it's possible for other people. It's a matter of believing that it's possible for me. It's a matter of checking in to see if my thought process around what my soul chose for this lifetime is true, because I get into this cycle of, believing, well, maybe my soul needed to learn this lesson of abusing my body. Maybe, this is it. Like, I spent my 40 years partying and having fun and, not really injuring anybody but myself. And this is the result of that. And I get to suffer the rest of my life because of it. And that's just my soul's choice. So I get to feel into that and see if that's actually true for me. They say if it doesn't feel good, it's not true. And that's obviously doesn't feel good to me. It's one of the things that keeps me in a stress response. So what can I believe? Well, I can believe that actually this is all part of a process of healing my mind, my soul, my psyche, my spirit. And, that I will come out the other side. There will always be learning. There will always be growth. And I heard on one of Joe Dispenza's testimonial YouTube videos today, him talking about a woman who had gone through his program or been to one of his events and healed something, quite major, like a genetic disorder, like, what the hell was it called? Polycystic something dysplasia. And he had 2 women actually who have actually healed their genetic markers from this disease. But anyhow, as this woman went through her process, she, got to the point where, she'd go back in for these, for this blood work, and she didn't really care because she felt so good. She didn't really care whether she had the disease or not. And that's actually strikes a real chord for me. Yes, of course I want to eliminate the ringing in my ears. Of course I do. But the ultimate, I can't depend, my life cannot depend on that. My happiness and my well-being and my sense of connection and beingness cannot be tied to whether I hear screeching in my head or not. And it's still, even talking about it, it brings up the stress response for me. And that's when I know, okay, what do I need? I guess I need to do some tapping around that. I need to learn how to do tapping. But that right there is exactly what my body does not need to heal. So, yeah, I think I can't decide. Greg Braden has a online program out about getting into our hearts, and I almost feel like that's like where I should start. Um, so I'll look at both of them and get my soul to sort of identify the right sequence for these two different programs. I think they'll both be really beneficial. And Joe Dispenza's work is sequential, so you take the kind of beginner lesson online, and then I don't know if you can only do the events, the other workshops in person. I don't really know. I just try not to get too far out ahead of myself these days. So I'm feeling, it's just so interesting, like even talking about that, what I was just talking about, like raises my heart rate and scares me. So I'm ready to now do this next phase of healing. Like I don't know, like if I could have done this phase first or not. I felt like I needed to really like, hammer down all of the physical bits of self-care. And, now I can just put that shit on autopilot and attend to my mind, my soul, my heart. Because I have some stuff that, to let go of and to be healed, but I'm starting to see how all of the pieces have fit together. And there can be no other hand in that than God's. And it's so weird. God is such a weirdly loaded word. I mostly use it because it's, short. And I know it's been co-opted by religion over the centuries, but I mean, God is the, unifying, all-loving force that holds this whole show together. So I can start to see God's work in my life. My husband is so supportive and has supported me financially, emotionally, spiritually, all of it through this. My new sponsor, who's just lovely and is the perfect person for me in spite of the fact that she's younger and has only been in the program a couple of years. Noelle, who is so both patient and firm with me about my healing process, and all the other bits that have fallen into place to get me to this place today where I'm starting to make sense to myself. So this was a long one, YouTube, but I think this is the most important piece in healing. And who knows, maybe one day I'll have my own like tinnitus training workshop, because I can't even imagine, like it's really, really frustrating and scary. And I see that millions of people are out there suffering from it. So I have to believe that I can heal this, and there is no answer, but the answer is not, oh, well, there's no answer. I know that that's the truth, because when I think that does not feel good. And so there is an answer, and I'm on the quest of discovering it, and it is already answered. I have already healed, and I already have perfect health. I have a few little glitches, but I really do already have perfect health. So it's just a matter of massaging the good health that's already there and continuing to support it, and reworking some neuro pathways. That's all. All right, YouTube, that's it. Bye for now.